Hey everyone, we are back once again, your Soxy Chicks. As always, I am Bailey, joined by Crystal, and for another week's wrap up of baseball. Bear with me, at least, not Crystal, because she's on the game and she's a responsible mother. I am a degenerate, and I'm just a little bit hungover. This is what you get for working with people quite considerably younger than you, and you can't keep up. So I'm gonna try to be okay. Oh,
We made it. That's all that matters.
I am here.
I
We
just
were
spent, almost 4 hours out in the
yeah.
sun,
Oh
and I did the
God.
same yesterday. So,
Oof. And we both realized that we're both wearing Roberto Clemente, like Pittsburgh. Like,
for
she's
real,
away, I'm home. Like,
can't
yeah.
you can't really see it. I can't
Like,
turn around that easily, but it
I was
is.
like, it is my, I think it's like, I don't know. There we go. It trusts us. They're Clemente. Clemente 21s. Retire 21 league wide. Let's go.
Yes, this is why we're friends. We
Yes.
match
We did. Oh, so weird.
completely unprompted. We haven't talked to
Right.
each other like almost
No,
all week.
no. And I'm like, oh, I was just like, which one do I want to throw on? And I just like love the feel of this one. So I was like, I'm just gonna go with this one. And I was like, oh my God, wait, this is great.
It's perfect.
But yeah, so I think the first thing I think we've gotta talk about is what went down in the Bronx.
Hoo, 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 hoo.
Like completely unacceptable.
Yeah. And even, Aaron Boone came out and said, this is not what we do. One of the other players was like, we win with class. Like we don't.
Well, do you?
Well, I
But
know.
anyway.
That's questionable, but
Mhm,
a
mhm.
lot of players came out and said it, and they were pissed. And I mean, they had every right to be. One guy got almost had a beer can at his face. Another guy got pelted with an ice cream cone.
Yeah, like Miles Straw, and then like you get some fans that are like, "Well, Miles Straw like went up and like scaled the wall and talked to." I was like, I would have done the same exact thing."
Yeah,
Well,
they had every
I
reason to be mad. That was just trashy. No pun
wouldn't say
intended.
it. Yeah, like beer cans. Like at one point, the guy that like they first started antagonizing, he like caught something on a fly that was like thrown at him. It
Hmm.
was like that. This reminds me of this happened to Verdugo last season.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
and he was so mad. And usually Verdugo is like a very easygoing person, and just to see him, yeah, because they were just you could hurt someone. Like what makes you think that this is ever okay is like really my big thing.
Yeah, another player, he was like, we're here working our asses off. We're here for entertainment. Nobody has a right to throw a beer can at me. I mean, nobody wants to be hit with a beer can.
Yeah, the fans are really close at Yankee Stadium. Like those fans in the bleachers are like very close to the
Yeah.
fans. And of course you got your bleacher creatures out there, and it was chaos. I was watching the video and I was like almost in disbelief for like what was going on. Yeah, we have a comment from Sean Palmer saying that Judge is going to leave the fan base behind. Like honestly, not wrong. Like the fact that he didn't take that amount of money that they actually offered to him, I feel like that says a lot. So we're gonna
Yeah.
see where Aaron Judge is gonna be playing in 2023. May not be the Bronx. Um, But yeah, absolutely wild scene. I like could not like I could believe it, but at the same time, like I didn't want to believe that something like that could have happened.
Yeah, it's really disappointing no matter what I mean, you can be a Yankees fan and that's still disappointing. Nobody
Yeah.
should treat players like that. You shouldn't treat anybody like that.
No, and these people are at their job right now. Like they're doing their job. They just got like walked off, and then that's what's even more strange. Like the Yankees won,
Yes.
yet the fans are like, let's throw a bunch of trash at the team that just lost. Like I really truly don't understand it, and I really hope that the Yankees are peaking way too early. At that because I hope they're peaking early, but who the hell knows? Because the Red Sox are literal dog poop right now.
Both of our teams are literal dog poop right now.
And both of our teams are way too good for this to be happening right now.
This White Sox got walked off in the 10th. Just I got
Oh,
notification
oh
by our
yeah,
Bullpen.
That was a Liam Hendricks. Like, no offense to White Sox fans, but I think he's extremely overrated. And I think all of that money that went to him, I was like, ooh, ooh. Like, I feel like people, like, if you look deeper into his metrics, they're like not as great as you would think, especially for the amount of money that the White Sox paid him.
Yeah, he's been a little disappointing, and I almost wonder, like, if he's got it in his head now. I mean, we clearly know Craig Kimbrell had that whole in his head thing last year because he was used to closing, and I'm, like, worried that, like, he touched something of Liam Hendricks, and it just, like, is now on him. He, like, stole the All-Star juice in Space Jam, whatever that was. I can't remember what it was called, but
Yeah, crazy, crazy. But I actually went to this was wild to me. Like last week, I didn't mention this last week, and I don't know why I did, but I was at a bar and a guy that looked exactly like Liam Hendricks and had an Australian accent too, like was at this bar. And for like a moment, I was like, wait, are the White Sox like in Los Angeles? And I knew they weren't. So it was like crazy to me. Like, it was absolutely crazy to me that I was like, "Oh my god, this, like, could be his twin. This is, like, freaking me out right now."
maybe he flew out for that, like,
For just the
severe delay.
one drink in Los Angeles, like, it was so funny. I was just like, "Oh my god." It looked like him, it sounded like him. It was absolutely crazy. But, ugh.
Yes, yes, those errors have been terrible for the White Sox. It's especially Tim Anderson. Tim
Oh,
Anderson is, like,
really?
this all-star amazing player, but he's got, like, sick at least I didn't watch today's game because I didn't want to. Like, I was enjoying family time at a
Yes.
minor league game,
Priorities, priorities.
but, just from last night, he was at, like, 6 errors
Mm.
just on him. That's inexcusable.
Yeah, that's a lot. The Red Sox defense is, I mean, pretty much the, second game we should have won, and then it was like, the issue was that there was a Trevor Story era. That would have been the 3rd out, and then Robles, who has been fantastic all season, he, gave up a go-ahead walk-off to, Kevin Kiermaier, of
Mhm.
all people. I was like, "Great, great." Yeah, like, Kevin Kiermaier has to walk, he's never had a walk-off in his entire freaking life, and it was absolutely ridiculous.
That game was insane, and they had the combined no-hitter. There were, like, 6. I wrote about it for the article I put out this morning, but yeah, it was like a combined no-hitter, and then for it to end in that, it was just
So
all
bad.
unearned, yeah. That game was insane. I turned it
Yeah.
on just because.
Yeah, no, my, a friend that I work with, she was like, I wasn't watching it, I was planning on watching it later, but then I got a spoiler and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to jinx this no-hitter," and I was like, "Oh, shit." And then, like, but then to find out that it was, like, no score because, the Red Sox the bullpen has been so weird, like, all season. It's like, really, really good, and then, like, today it was really bad, and it's, like, starting to, like, unravel and become a bit unhinged, so I'm really hoping that things like level out and, they can rely on the pen because the Red Sox haven't been letting their starters go deep. It's not even like today, 4 innings from Rich Hill, and I'm pretty sure he only had like 62 pitches. It's like they're terrified to send somebody like third time through the order. And I'm like, you know what? Like, why?
Michael Kopech made it through 5 innings, but the White Sox blew it, so he didn't get that win. But I
Yeah.
was impressed. He was at, like, 81 pitches, I think, is what he walked out with and made it through 5 and did a great job. Like, he was wonderful, but
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not meant to be, and I hate it. I was just like, I hate it. Like these 3 games in Tropicana, like I said, I was like, they could have swept. Like there were moments where it felt they could have swept and easily have been swept too. Like, which is just absolutely crazy. But there was plenty of opportunities for them. And then the Red Sox offense is just, I can't even right now. It is so bad. Like it's so bad, and it's making me sad. But for happier things, finally Miguel Cabrera got his 3,000th hit. So like that's something, yes, like we can be all happy for this moment
I got
to have finally
emotional.
occurred.
I don't get emotional. I was rewatching those videos and like it just got a little teary-eyed. I was like, wait a minute, I don't cry anymore. What's going on?
Yeah, it's like, but for Miggy, we'll cry. So like it's great just to finally see someone like him who for years was one of the best hitters in the
Mhm.
game, which is fantastic. But yeah, there is the like he's on a decline, so it's a little
Mhm.
sad to really see the player that he's become. But like he's finally got like it's noted the 33rd player in Major League Baseball to get
And
3,000 hits.
he's the seventh to do also to enter the 500 run club for
Oh,
500 home
really?
runs.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, he got both of those honors bestowed upon him. It came out that he was also in that 500 club and
Mhm.
33rd player in
That's
history to
great.
get to 3,000. We
Yeah,
love him.
and also I just feel like what's like I feel like the baseballs this season not being juiced, it's just the offense. Everybody's offense is just it's been so bad. And it's
Well,
making me extra sad.
not for everyone, but before that, I do want to bring up the Yankees that were being buttheads and intentionally walked Miggy,
Why? Like why?
which made me so mad. And then a
Oh.
bunch of fans got up and started yelling, Yankees suck, which was funny.
Mhm.
And then Austin Meadows with his 2-run single as instant karma for walking him, which I
So
thought
good.
was but I love Austin Meadows, so I thought that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, for sure. Austin, I like the fact that the Rays traded Austin Meadows is
Mm,
just absolutely wild to me. I really don't understand what they do down there in Tampa Bay,
I don't
but
get
it's
it, but I'm happy because he's closer to me
there
now.
you go.
So in September, I'm actually gonna go to Detroit
Oh,
to watch
cool.
a Tigers White Sox game with some of my Tiger radio pals,
Very cool.
so I get to see him again.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun. But yeah, so we've got that. Let's see. Yeah, we talked about the Rays combined 9 innings only to then walk it off. So yeah, you said Eloy Jimenez, he's hurt.
He was
Oh,
carted off the field.
ooh.
Second inning, he was running through first. Seemed like his back foot hit the bag and he went
Oh God.
down. He was in tears on the ground, and it took a while for him to come up. Seems like a hamstring injury. They're doing further evaluation,
Nation.
but it
Yeah.
looks like a strained hamstring. And Tony La Russa announced that it could be about 6 to 8 weeks,
Oh
ideally.
God.
But
Wow, that's a long time.
coming, obviously, he's coming home tonight, so tomorrow they'll evaluate it further in Chicago. But at least 6 to 8 weeks is what we're looking at for him, which
Uh,
sucks because last year he was out. He was injured in spring training and he was out for about 3 months, and that was painful.
that's awful. Like it's just you don't want anybody to get hurt. But I feel like hamstrings seem to be like such an issue. It's like do these people not know how to stretch properly? Like I really don't know
And
what's
base
going
running
on.
has been awful. I don't know if it's league wide. I've seen a little bit, but I know
Mhm.
for the White Sox, base running has been a thorn in their side this whole start to the season. But yeah, they're not stretching, they're overrunning bases. Like that's what you learn in baseball 101.
I know, right? And it's just causing all these injuries. And then also speaking of injury, the latest to join the Tommy John Club is John Means. And it's like I'm just saying, it's like par for the course at this point with these people. And John Means is great. So like for him
Mhm.
to go down, like that hurts extra, especially because
That's their
Baltimore's
ace.
throwing yeah, and Baltimore's throwing the ball like not that badly so far in the early part of the season.
Yeah, that's such a
Uh,
bummer.
oh, we learned that the White Sox had fired their trainer after last season.
Yeah, they did. They
Oh.
did. They brought in somebody new, and that trainer doesn't seem to be any better,
Mm.
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like the Red Sox moving on from their hitting coach, Tim Hires. He went and he's now the hitting coach in Texas. It's like these things seemingly now like the Red Sox offense is struggling. It's like these things that you miss, you don't realize you miss that you might actually be missing. And a trainer is so valuable to these players that
Yeah,
losing that.
I did read somewhere, the hitting coach for the White Sox, Frank Menechino, he was like, "This seems to be all mental." And I was like, "Are you sure though? Like, you could
Mm.
be doing better. Isn't like a management type position. Like Tony La Russa should be hyping up his
Yes.
clubhouse, but instead it's all this like bad mental block. And I guess the energy is just really bad. Clubhouse is really somber. And I was like, that's where you need to step in.
Way too talented for this to be happening.
Did we see that Ted Lasso episode? Like sometimes your players just need a therapist to come in and help them work out those blocks.
Absolutely. It's like your mental health is so important. They should be speaking to the mental health, because like every team has a mental health coordinator, don't they? So yeah, they should be speaking to that person and really try, if you do believe it's mental. But then just injury after injury is just crazy. But another injury. John Means going down. I don't know. It's like everybody's just like, it's like something in the water. It's like I find it so strange that now we live in like a day and age where, we see starters going like 4, 5 innings. They're barely going like 6 or 7. McClanahan went 7 like today, and it's like, oh, shocking. But it's almost like we're babying them, but then they're getting hurt more. Yeah. Whereas like back in the days of like Pedro Martinez, where you do 7 just to stay in shape, and you're mad if you do any less than that. Like I felt like, I could be wrong, but I felt like Tommy John wasn't as prevalent then. And now it's like everybody's getting it.
Yeah, it's wild. I've watched with Clayton Kershaw, when he was close to that perfect game and they pulled him after 7 because he had just came back from an injury. I was like, I understand that one, but at the same time, you should be stretching your players out more. Like, again, like I mentioned Kopech earlier, he finally made it through 5 and he's still on a limited innings, but it was like, it's sad when he was just poorly managed last year as a relief arm. He was not stretched out enough. So like, we shouldn't be that excited that a player finally went to 5. And it's just so frustrating. And like,
it's my total boomer take is like, why are these men not being stretched out? I understand that like we had a limited spring training, so like there is an adjustment. And like today, the perfect Rich Hill went 4 at like 62. Like it wasn't the smoothest of starts. There were shaky moments, so who knows what would have happened if he had came back out for the 5th. But also today, Red Sox fans, we were all very confused because we thought that Tanner Houck was going to piggyback and immediately come out. And then when Phillips Valdez came in, we were very confused. He had his worst outing of the year. He literally hit 2 batters, walked a batter, bases loaded. And then he only recorded 1 out. And then they had to bring in Brazier, who I don't understand is a Major League Baseball pitcher. G-Man Choi got what I thought was a grand slam at one point off the bat. I'm like, well, it's 4-2 now. Well, it ended up just being a really long double, but I was just like, oh my God. Like, so it's just like, these are these problems. And then you're just overworking your bullpen. And the Red Sox overworked their bullpen in 2021. They're seemingly overworking their bullpen again. Yeah. And it's like, so it's a problem that I just think that please just extend these pitchers. I get you want to do 100. These guys aren't even going to 100. They're going to like 62 with like Garrett Whitlock. Like completely understand. That makes so much sense to me because he had only done relief up until this point, and you want to be stretching him out. He went about like 40. He did 4 innings. Really super economical. I think he only had like 42 pitches after he finished the 40. He like didn't walk a single person. He had like 7 Ks. So like all of this is like really encouraging for sure. And I understand him not going more than 4, but like these other guys, I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. I feel bad for these bullpens. They are just constantly being taxed, and it's early, and I get that.
Of course.
But still, they are just burning out arms left and right. Most of these teams are burning these bullpen arms out, and it's such a bummer. Now they're all injured.
Yeah.
Speaking of another injury, Scott Boras.
Oh God.
It was like midnight last night, my time, announced that Michael Conforto had shoulder surgery. He's not going to play this season, so that could be why he was never picked up.
Maybe we take that qualifying offer, Michael. Maybe you should have done that because you would at least be getting some good money. But yeah, you're probably right. That's probably why nobody like wanted to touch him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he also was very like against vaccinations, and some of
Oh,
these
was he? Oh, I
ballparks
didn't.
are big. You get the vaccine, you play.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The Red Sox are on the way to Toronto, so it'll be interesting to see. There were some players, like, people were just like but see, the part of me that I hate about the situation, like, when it's on Twitter, you get just people being like, "Well, clearly this person's not vaccinated just because, like, he's a Republican or something." So, I hate that view when people say stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
because JD Martinez is a Republican, they're like, "Oh, he's definitely anti-vax." And they, like he's been out the past couple of days, and they announced that he's on his way to Toronto. So clearly he is
Yeah.
vaccinated. So it's like, let's just not do these things. Let's just not assume. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go.
Yes. Yes, Gordon, it is absolutely Tony La Russa. That is why the White Sox have just sucked it out. I mean, the errors, obviously Tony's not committing errors, but he's also not adjusting. He's putting oh, I don't even want to say his name, like it hurts to come out. But Lori Garcia batting second. He had like a .69 batting average the other day.
Oh God.
But he's in the 2 spot, and I was
That's
like, "Is
supposed to
he
be your
gonna lead
best
off?
hitter is
Is he
in the
gonna lead
two.
off when Tim plays his suspension?" But, like
Like, the crazy thing is about Tony La Russa is there was a time where he was great at his job.
he's
So,
no
it's so
longer.
interesting that he just has not been able to adapt at all from, when things went well in, like, the 2000s, like, the 2010s era of, like, when he was doing things that were really great. And it's like but I don't think he's ever gonna get fired because isn't,
No.
like, he Reinsdorf's, like, best friend?
Yeah, they're best friends, and Jerry is still upset about him getting the boot many moons
To
ago,
go? Yeah.
So he's not going anywhere, but he's not doing anything unless he finds that it's, like, no longer fun anymore or one of them leaves their earthly bodies. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. No,
So
yeah.
it's frustrating because, he's not helping out with, like, the mental aspect. He's not putting out reasonable lineups. Andrew Vaughn has been an amazing hitter lately. Hell, Gavin Sheets has been really good lately, but he's putting Garcia in, like,
In
the
the
2 or 3
2.
spot.
That's crazy.
Yes. No way you pitch to
Oh,
Byron Buxton in the ninth with a man on second and third and first base open. You walk him and then hope for a double play. Yes, that is managing 101, absolutely. And, I've seen this chart of, like, does this person look like this person? And, Byron is, I think, on there, but it's just like Roberto Perez. So, like, does this person look like Roberto Perez? Okay, walk him. Do they
yeah.
not? Okay, pitch to them. I mean, they're just our bullpen obviously is just trash right now anyway, but yeah, it's so frustrating for both Sox teams because they're just imploding and Tony La Russa is terrible and
And then the Red Sox were hit with, like, a COVID again, like, Alex
Mhm.
Cora got COVID, so he's obviously not gonna be going to Toronto with the team, so Will Venable, the bench coach, has been taking over, and there was just some bad management today.
Yeah.
And then JD Martinez being out, so there's a lineup error, like, the best lineups really weren't out in this 3-game set, but again, our best lineups weren't out, we don't have our manager, and they almost could, like, I'll say it again, they could have swept, like, they really could have. So, like, that's encouraging to me at least. So, yeah, we did see some struggles from the bullpen, but the starting pitching, Michael Wacha, I don't understand
Mhm.
how he's doing well. He's like a 1.88 ERA. Like, his metrics are a little worse, the 1.88 ERA, but I mean, like, his FIP is, like, I think, like, a 3.6 or something. So if you look deeper, it's not as good as you think, but this is still like, he came in, we weren't even sure if Michael Wacha was gonna be, like, making the Red Sox, like, rotation. And now even when you get, Chris Sale to come back, I'm just like, you got like, to me, it's like Walker should, like, and if this is your fifth, like, he's your
Mhm.
fifth, like, that's you can ask for more from a number 5 than what Michael Wacha has been giving the Red Sox.
Yeah. Just embarrassing. We could go on for a million years about
Yeah.
how bad our teams are right now. Perhaps we should
Oh, yeah, but then, we get, like, Mike Trout, like, I love this, Mike Trout is starting to heat up. I mean, the best player in baseball. I'm so happy that when he got hit on the hand that it wasn't
Yeah,
anything worse
nothing
because
detrimental.
I was like, "Oh my god, are we gonna have another season where, the best player in baseball isn't playing?"
Playing. Yeah.
And so hoping that that's not going to be happening at all. But yeah, and then so I guess we could just like recap who's leading the divisions. Like, unfortunately, the Yankees are now tied. I don't understand how the Yankees are good, but whatever. So they're tied with Toronto now, 10-6, and then Tampa Bay. The Red Sox are terrible, almost as bad as Baltimore. And like again, it's early, so I'm in no way in panic mode, but I am not enjoying any of this. So those are facts. Those are
That's
facts.
how
So
I feel.
right? Like, you get it. So that's the AL East. The Central, we've got Minnesota somehow
Yeah, well,
leading, but then
they're
they're only at 500. I love divisions that aren't the American League East. I want to be in a different division. Please allow this. Realign them. Oh, and then Cleveland's been playing really well. Then we've got your White Sox struggling at 6-9, Detroit, and then Kansas City. Yeah, poor Kansas City. They'll be good soonish.
I don't want them to ever be good.
And then crazy stuff going on the West, man. We got Seattle leading at 9-6, and the Angels are right behind them. Oakland at
Yeah.
9-8. What is happening?
What is
Get it,
happening with the
Oakland?
Astros?
Yeah, right. 7-8. I mean, it's crazy. And then Texas is terrible. Like, that model is terrible. Like, did you really think that you were going to like believe that you could somehow have zero pitching, but like all of your offense is just going to take out? No, like you're going to win like 10-9 maybe, but clearly they're 5-10 right now, so they're playing terribly. And of course the Mets in the AL East, I mean, duh.
Mets are crushing it. They've been fun to
Yeah,
watch. I actually got tickets to see the Mets in Cincinnati.
That'd be
like
fun.
the week of 4th of July, because that's my husband's team. I've been kind of bandwagoning as a Mets fan recently. I want to go so we got seats like right on the first baseline so that I could like tell Pete Alonso that I love him.
That's cool. I mean, you and the 3 other fans of the Cincinnati Reds, and that's not a knock at Cincinnati Red fans. That's a knock at that ownership doing nothing to get butts in seats. So you'll have Great American to yourself.
Can we quickly take a little side trip down to Joey Votto's TikToks recently?
Oh my God. Joey Votto is a riot.
I am obsessed. I was obsessed with the Incredible Hulk. I was a little creeped out by the very first one where they're doing that little weird dance.
Oh, I've been reading his Twitter, but I haven't seen the TikToks. Are they even better than what he's been tweeting?
Oh my God. Well, he'll tweet out the TikToks every once in
a while. Oh, really? Oh,
okay. They have been just unhinged, but like in the best way. Like, wow, do I actually love Joey Votto now? I mean, I already liked him, but like, do I love him because he dresses up as Ron Weasley and does some weird, like, super weird dance?
I love it. He's got to have fun. He needs to have fun somehow, because that poor guy. That poor guy.
Hunter Green. That's about it right now.
Oh, that poor guy. But no, that's great. Like, we're very pro Joey Votto on here. But yeah, it's wild. It's not wild. I mean, the Mets have put a lot into being this good, so at least they're actually getting these results.
And DeGrom will be back probably. They were saying he could be back mid-June, early July.
Oh, shit.
Which would be great if he's back when I'm there in July, because we're birthday twins.
Nice. He's great. Mike Trout was able to, avoid injury. The best player. We'd love to see the best pitcher as well. But yeah, the embarrassment of riches that are the New York Mets. But then we've got Miami, Atlanta playing poorly. Philadelphia poorly, and then Washington was expected to be poorly. But I was expecting the NL East to feel finally more like an AL East, like there was going to be some competition in there. But like out of the gate, again, very early out of the gate, it has not been going well.
No, and I expected the Phillies to be up a little bit more because they added all the power bats this season. So I'm a little stunned that they're fourth.
Yeah, as playing as poorly as they are, but I mean, I guess it's once proving that pitching really does win. So, and they're doing that hard over in Queens. And then in the NL Central, we got St. Louis leading Milwaukee over Pittsburgh, the Cubs, and then Cincinnati. Also, the Cubs just like, it's hilarious that they attempted to like kind of go for it, but like, what are you doing?
They are hot and cold. I'm just convinced that they're going to be hot and cold all season. But their football numbers game the other day, I thought it was funny that the MLB Twitter handle, tagged the Bears and the Steelers because it was 21
21.
nothing.
That's wild.
That's a football game.
Poor
But
poor
hey,
Pittsburgh.
I'm happy to see that the Pirates are at 500.
Yes,
As
that's great.
a quiet, sad Pirates fan, I do love them, even though they don't love me back.
Oh,
I'm happy
I've
to,
always loved the Pirates,
yeah,
mainly PNC. My God.
yeah. Well, the Indianapolis team, the minor league game I was
Mhm.
at today, they're the AAA affiliate for the Pirates, so that's how I grew to
Get
love
into them. Yeah.
McCutcheon so much. But so I just root for the Pirates when they're not playing a team I care about. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you want like I just said, it's wild how well this early on like Oakland has been doing. Like Oakland's 9-8. Like I would love if Oakland just somehow was fantastic. Like I would love it because then we are like maybe Billy Bean is the genius that we already believe he's a genius, but like just a genius above all other geniuses because
mhm.
it's wild that they're playing well, but like good for them. Like really good for them. And then of course we have the NL West where we have holy shit, like four teams playing really well. Like of course
Yeah,
the Dodgers, San Francisco, Colorado, and then San Diego. Colorado is definitely peaking like way too early. It makes it they have
yeah,
no
they are.
business being good and they're not going to be good. But yeah, and then we just have Arizona being terrible.
Yeah.
Poor Arizona.
I mean, you've
But
got 4 teams way over 500
yeah,
in that division, which is just
crazy.
wild. And the Diamondbacks were actually playing really well against the Mets for that series. They
Mm,
won last night.
that's good. But yeah, no. So these divisions are playing out oddly, but I'm
Yeah.
here for it. I like to have a little shake up in baseball.
Man, those poor Reds. They've only won 3
Mm.
games.
Oh my God. Imagine
That's
being
just
a Reds fan. I'm sorry. I feel
oh,
so bad for you. Like genuinely, it's not a because like such a storied franchise that you want them to be successful. And it looked like they were trying to go for it, and then no. Like but yeah. So do we have some questions you said?
we do. We have a lot. Oh, wait. Biggest
Oh,
surprise in MLB so far, good or bad, individual, team, whatever.
ooh.
That's a good one. That just came in on our chat.
Mm,
I do have some other questions. Let's see. My biggest surprise.
mm.
I would say honest, and I had a feeling that the Mets were going to be good because they did spend so much money.
Right?
But I think it's still a surprise how well they have already started out. Um,
Yes.
they've been
Yes.
great so
They came
far.
out the gate. They really came out the gate.
Yeah, they've been great. What about
So
for
yeah.
you? Do you have any big
Yeah.
surprises?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with a player, and it's not really a super surprise because I really was expecting sort of a breakout, but Alex Verdugo has just been playing out of his mind. Like
Yeah.
he's playing how like Mookie Betts should be playing for what Mookie Betts is being paid, and Mookie Betts has started a really slow start, and then Verdugo has just been on absolute fire,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Like the one person on the Red Sox that's like hitting the ball really well is Alex Verdugo. And like I think it was today. Yeah, it was today. Of course, Kevin Kiermaier being Kevin Kiermaier, looking all handsome and stuff. Those blue eyes. Made this like freaking like Willie Mays catch in
Right.
center on like a rocket, I think it was like 403-foot rocket off of Verdugo's bat, and Verdugo just had this face like how was that not a hit? Like literally, like I earned that hit. And so frustrating as that was, I'm really liking how well he's been pitching.
Yeah.
Pitching, Jesus. He would love to pitch, playing.
We
Let's
would
have him
love.
pitch too, because he wants to be a two-way player, which I think is hilarious.
And we've got AL Cy Young and NL Cy Young so far. I
Ooh,
think for the AL, and this is my pipe dream. I think it's going to be Dylan Cease.
really?
He's been phenomenal. He has
That's
grown so much.
crazy. That'd be
And
crazy. I mean, good
NL,
for him. Good for him.
yeah,
But
NL. If Carlos Rodon can keep it up, it's going to be a battle between maybe him or Kershaw.
Yeah, Kershaw's so good. Ooh, yeah. Kershaw would be, like, a good pick, just, like, I would love just him coming back from injury too,
Yeah.
just to sort of go back and being a little older, going back to form. I would definitely love that for him to get the, NL. But, ooh, I'm really looking. Let me see who's been doing, like, really well for the yeah, I'm like, I feel like I'm not as like, what's going on? Like, I just feel like with my new job, I feel like I am not as
Yeah.
prepared when it comes to baseball because I just been working and like all next week I'm working every single day. And I was like, you're cutting into my appreciation of the sport of baseball job. So like, please don't. I'm not enjoying it. Oh wow. Dude, Zach Plesac has been pitching really well.
He has
That's
been.
that's crazy. I'm gonna go. Let's go with the two golden oldies. I'm gonna say Justin Verlander.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
There we
that's a
go.
good
We'll say
one.
we'll say we'll say Verlander Kershaw got our Cy Youngs going on.
That's a good one.
And then also AL and NL MVP. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna say Alex Verdugo is just gonna have a hell of a season, and he's gonna like snag that MVP, and then everybody's gonna be like Mookie who, Mookie who. I'd love that. Ooh, for over in the American League. Oh, let's see. So that's the American League. Who for the NL? Let's see. Hmm. I'll go a little crazy. I'm gonna say that Nolan Arenado's gonna do it, and he's gonna just totally prove that the Colorado factor isn't a thing.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
I think I would agree on Nolan. I was gonna say either Nolan or honestly maybe Pete Alonso because he's had a phenomenal season.
Polar bear.
My original American League was Luis Robert.
Mm.
Um, he's injured. I don't know that that's gonna happen, so I'm gonna go with Vlad Jr.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a good safe bet.
Yeah.
That is a very good safe bet.
He was my second to Luis Robert anyway, so
Yeah, there
that
you go. So it'll probably be him. There we
yeah.
go. All right.
We've got a few questions too
Oh,
that
awesome.
were from Twitter when we
Nice.
asked. Sydney Brown asked, with Giolito back in the rotation, would you sit Velasquez in the bullpen or release him? Honestly, I don't think that the White Sox have enough depth right now in their rotation with Lance Lynn still out, with being unsure about Kopech, with being unsure with Dallas Keuchel. I don't think either of those options are super great at this point. I think maybe once Lance Lynn is back, release him. But right now they're just they don't have pitching.
Yeah, that's a problem. Like that's what like I'm always like get rid of Brazier, get rid of Brazier, get rid of Brazier. But at the same time, I'm like,
Ooh.
well, like who's gonna fill in? But then we do have like the Red Sox AAA, the Worcester Red Sox have been playing like really, really well. And I feel like there are some potential options down there to like bring up and that are probably better than Brazier. So but yeah, it's a struggle when you don't really have anybody to replace that person that's playing poorly.
Yeah. So we've got this one I liked a lot. Should Carlton Fisk be in the Hall of Fame as a Red Sox or a White Sox?
Well, I think the numbers will probably say White Sox, but his hometown of New Hampshire will say Red Sox, and that's definitely why he wears a Red Sox B on his Hall of Fame plaque.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I feel like he's spent almost equal time because what he started in 71
Mhm.
and ended in 93. He
That's
spent
crazy.
a lot of time in Chicago, though.
Yeah, and I think his numbers were better in Chicago
Yeah.
than they were in Boston, but, like, the big problem in Boston is that the man never should have played for anybody but the Boston Red Sox, but our GM, Hayward Sullivan, at the time, was a giant asshole. So, he not only effed up him, he also fucked over Freddie Lynn as well.
Mhm.
So those are just two people that should have never left. And Freddie Lynn, oh my God, if he had played his entire career with the Red Sox, he's a Hall of Famer for sure. So like, yeah, we just like had someone, forget to mail in contracts and then we become a free agent and things like this. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's just poorly run team at the time and make mistakes. But yeah, I would say that the heart of being like a New Englander, it's like, yeah, you want to go in as a Red Sox, and like that's where he played in the World Series with the Red Sox as well. But then my mom is like the worst day of her life because she's like Carlton Fisk's biggest fan, like loves Carlton Fisk. So when that happened, she was not happy.
The other two, I think, are more for you. One
Oh,
just said strictly extension talk with Raphael.
Yeah, well, he said he didn't want to talk during the season. We are mid-season. I don't know if like an all-star break, but I mean, if he plays as well as he does, he's going to go to the all-star game. So it's not like you're going to really have time to talk to him at like, let's say, an all-star break. I don't think it's as people think it needs to happen right now. Like he's not going to be a free agent until after the 2023 season. So you still have this offseason to figure it out. I think it is priority number one. I think it needs to get done. I think it has to get done. And there were some talks, but apparently they were just completely not close money wise. So that's an issue. That scares me. I don't think that this is the Red Sox won't spend. I mean, we just proved that we will spend. They gave Trevor Story a lot of money, but it's also hard to say like if he wants like $350 million, like that's a lot of money because at least you had like a Mookie Betts had like an MVP already when he's saying these things. He's like one of the best players in baseball. I think Rafael Devers can become one of the best hitters in baseball,
Mhm.
but overall, there's a difference between like a Mookie Betts and especially when like Bryce Harper went to free agency and he got $330 million over 13. He also had an MVP in his back pocket, and then he just won another MVP. Like Devers, unless he wins the MVP now, like he doesn't have that to say, like I should be paid more. I'd be like, why should you be paid more? Type
Yeah.
of a situation. So
He only
I think it
made
needs to get done though.
he just made 11.2 million for this 1-year contract. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't see them giving him that much money
I really don't either.
for
And
anything
but
else.
somebody will because
Somebody
people be
will.
spending money. I hope the Red Sox figure out something with him. I think he wants to stay here. I think it'd be a mistake to move on from him. Like, I don't think it was a mistake to move on from Mookie Betts, like, honestly, at all. I think it could potentially, because we're talking about 25-year-old. Like, I
Mhm.
think with somebody going into his prime, I think it's a mistake to move on from Rafael Devers if the Red Sox
Yeah.
do that.
Then the last one we got, this is another kind of Red Sox one. Do you think the Red Sox are being honest about the Jerry Remy Don situation? I see this as a point of contention for you.
I I hate Nesson with a fiery passion because getting rid of him made absolutely no sense. He's having so much fun in San Diego, so why would you ever want to leave San Diego? So I'm like, please, Don, don't leave San Diego. Enjoy San Diego. Getting rid of him made absolutely no sense. And then especially when they came out, like Tom Warner made a comment of being like, oh, we think that we got somebody who's better pretty much in Dave O'Brien. And I hate Dave O'Brien. I think Dave O'Brien has the most lackluster calls. He almost seems like giddy when the Red Sox are losing. It's like it's a weird dynamic. I don't like it at all. And now, especially when we have Jerry not in the booth anymore. But the Red Sox, like at least some of the people that they've been bringing in, like Kevin Youkilis has done like really well. So I've enjoyed some of the people that they're bringing in. Eckersley is a mainstay, but I just don't know how they did Don like that. Like Don clearly it was working. He could not be like, "Oh, sorry, I'm gotta go for this thing." Like the Remy family knows what he means to him, and so he obviously couldn't go. But he like straight up was like, "I did this video," and then the idea of being like, "Oh, like yeah, we just didn't feel like video montages were a thing." No, a lot of I like the fan like speculation of being like, "Oh, that you knew if they threw that up on the board, people were gonna go." Crazy, and then fans were just gonna be like, why isn't John here? And like then so it's like it could be they could be lying because like they knew there was just gonna be this backlash if this like big awesome tribute goes up there. And at the same time it's like I hope Remy would be pissed. Like the idea of that not happening to me was like it was disrespectful.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But yeah, so thank you everybody for your questions.
Yeah.
Please keep sending us. Thank you for joining in. Love the people in the chat. Really
Oh,
appreciate that as well.
it's been an active chat. I love it.
Yeah, it's been great. So thank you for all your questions. We'll be back next week. I will be prepared. I will, dear God, I hope I won't be hungover again, but we will find out. I said I cannot be drinking as much as I'm too old to be
I
drinking.
will have just been I've just returned home from Milwaukee to
Excited.
see my baby, Andrew McCutcheon.
Love it.
Hopefully they beat those Cubs.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably. So good for them. Go Brewers. But
Yeah.
yeah, so thank you everybody and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you.